Hey, what's going on, guys? Al Desha here. Today I want to talk about two autograph send out requests that I'm getting ready to send out. That's a little redundant, I apologize. And my two autographs concerning the 1980 Olympics Miracle on Ice. Amazing underdog story. It's one of the biggest upsets in modern sports history. The 1980 U.S. men's hockey team. Underdogs going up against the Russians during the Cold War. Heavily favored Russians had their professional players and a bunch of nobody amateur hockey players from the United States. Upset them in one of the medal rounds. And I don't do it justice. I'm going to put some links below where you can look it up on Wikipedia. And there's a video or two or three or four dozen on YouTube. I'm going to link one of those videos down there where it goes over the last minute of the Miracle on Ice, the end of the game. And even if you're not a hockey fan, even if you're too young to remember this, it did happen in 1980, quite a while ago, nearly, what's that, 20, 30, almost 40 years ago, 38 years ago, roughly. I watched it on TV when it happened. I vaguely remember getting excited. I didn't remember the build up to the game, but I did watch that game. I did watch the final minute, and I wasn't a hockey fan at the time, and I'm not necessarily the biggest hockey fan now, but I do enjoy an underdog story. And even if this was not the Americans winning against the Russians, if it was similar circumstances with other teams, other countries, I would still be emotional about it because this was, like I said, one of the biggest underdog stories that ever happened in sports and anywhere else. But first things first, let me get to these autograph request send-outs I want to get to. These are from the Topps baseball cards I opened yesterday, and they came across two Stat Kings cards where it has three players on each card, and these are from 2017 American League runs scored leaders and the 2017 National League runs batted in leaders. And the National League runs batted in leaders have Marcell Ozuna, Nolan Arenado, and Giancarlo Stanton. And unfortunately, Mr. Ozuna and Mr. Stanton do not play on Miami anymore. Not together. I believe Mr. Stanton's with the Yankees and Mr. Ozuna is with the St. Louis Cardinals. Had a brain fart right there. So I'm going to send this out to Marcell Ozuna first. If I get it back in the mail, autograph return, I'm going to send it to the next in line, Mr. Arenado. And if that comes back, I'm going to send it to Mr. Stanton for hopefully a triple autographed card. But that's a long way off. I have to start the ball rolling and send it to get Mr. Ozuna's autograph on this. Hopefully he hooks me up. Hopefully he returns it. And if it does come back, I'm going to send it to the other two people. If everything falls in line and the universe is on my side, I'll end up in a couple months or whatever with a triple signed card from those guys. And the same goes for the 2017 American League runs scored leaders right here. First, I'm going to send it to George Springer. He still plays on the Houston Astros, as does Jose Altuve right there. And I believe, I didn't look it up, but I believe Aaron Judge is still a Yankee. But that's beside the point. And since Mr. Springer and Mr. Altuve are both on the Houston Astros, I thought for a second that I was going to send, or I thought about sending the card to both of them at the same time. It's like, hey, since you signed this, can you pass it off to your teammate and have him sign it and return it to me? That seemed a little lazy and a little D-baggish. So I don't know, just it was me. Maybe that's something other people do, but just didn't seem right. So I'm going to send it to Mr. Springer first. And if he does grace me with his autograph, I will send it to Mr. Altuve. And if that happens, I'll end up sending it to Mr. Judge here on the end. And hopefully, in a month or 2, 3 months, whatever, it's probably going to take a while. Hopefully, I can report back with 2 cards, triple signed both. That would be awesome. I haven't tried this before. I actually have a couple cards out right now, football cards, where it was NFL players that played college together, and there was like 2 people on a card, a couple of them. And if I get those back, I'm going to send those out for the other autograph. For the other player on the card, I'm going to send out an autograph request to that person also. I forget who those guys are. It's been a while. It's been a few months, and I've sent out a lot of football requests. So if and when that happens and they do return those cards, I'll send those out also for autograph requests for the other person on the card. So the envelopes are ready, and I'll send those out tomorrow. So on to my Miracle on Ice 1980 men's hockey team, Lake Placid, New York Olympics, underdog story of the century, most significant sports story in the last 100 years according to Sports Illustrated for the last century, their 1999 issue, I believe I just read. And I couldn't find a picture. This is of Mike Eruzione and Jim Craig. And I couldn't find a picture of them together that looked good at all. So I just got a picture of the team celebrating after the clock had ticked down, and they were celebrating on the ice. And I don't believe Mr. Eruzione or Mr. Craig are in this photo, but this is the photo I chose. Everybody celebrating back here. The Soviet goaltender looking not so happy, a little dejected. Like I said, these guys were professionals and highly favored to win the gold medal back in 1980. And like I said, these underdog amateur hockey players beat what many considered the best team on the planet at the time, the Russian hockey team. And here's Mr. Eruzione's autograph right here. And this is why I write the names of the people on my envelopes for the returns, because I would have never guessed. Aside from the 80 gold, I could probably figure it out with the ME, but I write the last name on the autograph return just so I can figure out who these people are, because I cannot recognize everybody's signature, and I already have enough unidentified autographs. I don't need any more. And here's Mr. Jim Craig right there. It says, "Believe in your dreams, Jim Craig, 1980 gold." So they both wrote 80 gold on here in one form or the other. And I believe Jim Craig was the goaltender. I forget what position Mr. Eruzione played. But those 2 guys were 2 of the bigger names on the team. Definitely Jim Craig with the being the goalie and not allowing the Russians to score on him as much as they tried. So yeah, that's my Miracle on Ice hockey autographs right there. I got these years ago when Autograph Collector magazine was a thing, a physical thing, where I subscribed, and they provided the addresses for both these guys at the time. My wife just got home. So yeah, that's it.
Sorry.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to put this up on the wall somewhere behind the camera here, because as you can see, the wall is kind of full behind me. I'm not sure where to put it anymore. And I've got some other ones to hang up. I've got my Penn and Teller and my what was not the Goodfellas, but the guys from HBO. Oh, The Sopranos. Gosh, brain farts twice in one video. So I got to figure out where to put those in. Once I do, I'll make a little tour of the room here, the half room I have, and show you what's going on, that stuff you can't see behind me. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Sorry for the distraction with the dog. My wife walked in. I'll be back tomorrow with another video, and think about subscribing, tell your friends, whatever, and we'll see you later. Bye. Thanks.